we raising the flag for William Smith?
Well, because he came with a very well thought out vision for American education. And he was not only a very fine orator, but he wrote a lot and he published a lot of poetry. So he's a man of the pen. And one of the things that he not just wrote and trotted around was a document called A General Idea of the College of Mirania. And Mirania is not a very familiar name, but M-I-R-A-N-I-A, the mira part, is an adjective, Latin adjective, meaning marvelous, unprecedented, surprising, really wonderful, and Ania, just the name of a country. And in the book, he describes his vision of education in a sort of utopian manner. It is very reminiscent of Gulliver's Travels and of the original Utopia by Sir Thomas More. And in this, we hear about this country which has an educational system matching very well its social stratum. It has a threefold stratum, and the program of education is going to accommodate not just an elite who is going to handle classical languages, but also a middle ground and a ground of artisans, craftsmen, who need to handle numbers and handle the language well. And so this vision is written up, and we should think of this as an application letter, because he sends it to the body of trustees who are thinking about founding a college in New York, and they will call it an academy and then build it to a college-level institution. It becomes King's College, which is today Columbia. Now, he doesn't make the cut there, but the thing about William Smith is that he is organized, purposeful, and irresistible. Once he has an idea, he will carry it through. So almost immediately, he carries this book that he has published down to Benjamin Franklin. And Franklin really likes that vision and says, why don't you come and work with me? And I think they got along famously for a while. Now, politics is going to drive them apart. And there will be other issues. For one thing, William Smith goes regularly to England to raise money. And as America is beginning to pull away from Britain, we're now talking about the 1750s, 60s, and we're going to have the French and Indian War, and it's going to be a very difficult era. William Smith is more connected with elites who want to keep the colonies under the English thumb, and he is very much allied with the Penns, the Penn family, the proprietors, and these are sort of anti-democratic trends.
It should be also noted that the Penns provided the funds for the College of Philadelphia.
Yes, necessarily. Yeah, I think necessarily. They could not. It would have been a scandal not to support some sort of education. But Franklin's vision is more pluralistic and different. And gradually, the sympathy of Smith for Britain, the mother country, overtakes him, and Franklin is in the opposite camp politically. And eventually William Smith is going to be judged too much of a Tory. And at that point, things are getting hot in Philadelphia. This coincides with some educational differences. It coincides with William Smith wanting to avenge himself against a slight from Benjamin Franklin. And he attacks Franklin in his really vulnerable place, which is his scientific publication, saying, no, it's not you, it is your assistant. Ebenezer, and I'm blocking on Ebenezer's last name, who really did all the experiments, and you're taking credit for it. And there's another thing, and that is that William Smith is actually able to block an honor that Benjamin Franklin very much wanted from Oxford University, and he, through his excellent connections, was able to block that. So the town is going to be too small. And this is why we have him down here in Chester to bringing with him the plan for education that he had first as provost of the College of Philadelphia and then the College of Pennsylvania, now the University of Pennsylvania, that he brought with him. And he's going to apply it here at Washington College, at St. John's, and trot it around to other people. Now, it's a wonderful opportunity. You had a church that didn't have a pastor, that had been searching for it, and they were quite anxious to have him. And then the Kent School also was leaderless. So, I mean, there were lily pads that he could jump to, and without being a frog. But, he was welcomed, and I think his salary was something like 600 bushels of wheat. Because, America was short in printed currency at that time. And so barter and being paid in kind was a norm. That too is William Smith. The solidity of his commitments to various institutions and various tasks is remarkable. And he's blessed with this incredibly good constitution. And he is out there fundraising all the time on horseback, going down the Delmarva Peninsula in winter and in scorching summer over roads not really worthy of the name. And he's wildly successful at it. And it is true, yes, that he was a friend of the bottle, and later on he did have an alcohol problem. And I think this exacerbated some of his irascible temperament, which is the bad side of the person who's really determined to get certain things done and have it their way. Now, he knew Washington, and there are a couple of reasons. One is that he owned land out near Valley Forge, and there was an island that he called Barbados in the Schuylkill River, not far from there, where he had a house. And he was knew the road well from Philadelphia, the center of Philadelphia, to Valley Forge. And during that terrible winter, 1778, he came and preached at Valley Forge. And he had known Washington from other contacts. And I'm not sure whether it had to do with recommendation of a son or a relative, but they had met before. So that he was a known quantity. And I thought it was a masterstroke to ask this American who has just stepped down, has had this illustrious career, and who is the most revered man in America at the time, to give his name, lend his name. And it is a unprecedented as far as I know. People concede, and there's a doctoral thesis to this effect, largely to this effect, that his imprint on American education was decisive and widespread and long-lasting. I think that the fact that he was busy in so many other areas may have fragmented some of his effectiveness. So he is a man of many parts and many skills. And I just see a sort of long range and eventually diffuse, but still palpable influence on the shape of American education.